It's really over. The last U.S. planes left Kabul after 20 years of war. Now all the American soldiers and citizens, who were still in Afghanistan, and also from other countries and I hope, as well as their collaborators. We learned that they have been rescued and taken away from Afghanistan. It is not a defeat for the United States of America, but a new awareness that the populations must succeed on their own, to get rid of the dictators or the oligarchs they do not love. Otherwise they have to suffer them. In Europe, both in France and in Italy, in the Second World War, the partisans gave a great help to the Allied forces. But if the population and a super-armed Afghan army during the American presence of these 20 years refused to fight, I don't see what more America or the Allied forces could have done. Each nation has its own destiny, and you can fight destiny only if you fight it, at the cost of your life, and this fight is called becoming partisans. With one's homeland in one's heart, and it doesn't matter if one dies, for the freedom of one's own country. So the Afghan army, fed and militarized by the United States, proved not very courageous, and could have won, if they had the freedom of their country more at heart. So now it is enough that foreign nations go to free nations subjected to dictators or oligarchs, because it would be like if the aliens, those of the UFOs, came to help us earthlings to live better on Earth, and this is impossible because always it happens that with the desire to do well one ends up doing worse. America's choice to retire was a right choice. On the other hand, it had already been decided by the Republicans too. That then there were problems was not easily guessed a priori. Now I hope that there will be no more reprisals on both sides, and I repeat, if a nation wants to free itself from its tyrant, it does so by creating associations of partisans, and whatever the cost. I have seen documentaries shot in the American streets, especially in the city in Philadelphia, where young Americans aged 20 to 55, because over the age of 55 they are all dead. They live in the middle of the street like zombies, completely drugged, staggering and prostituting themselves to buy drugs, they who live on the sidewalks. Here I believe that these are the battles that America must fight, recover these derelicts of theirs, or better, to make sure that drugs no longer contaminate the American population, and finally completely defeat the drug trafficking mafias, which almost seems like selling drugs to young Americans, but also of the world. In exchange the traffickers receive their soul. I repeat, this is the real and just war, now that we have to fight. Defeating drug trafficking, and governments can certainly succeed, and if governments fail, it means that there is a lot of corruption in the air, determined by the large round of money that the drug traffickers are able to manage, and the corrupt from now on must be considered on a par with drug traffickers, because they are